Hey, welcome back to the channel. I think it was a little over 2 years ago that I purchased my first 48 volt 100 amp hour Server Rack battery. I paid about $1,400 for it, and that battery is still going strong in my DIY solar system. But today, we're going to review a similar size Server Rack battery with just shy of half that price. Will it perform just as well as the premium brand batteries? Can it power my entire house in an emergency? Stick around and you'll find out. A slew of budget 48 volt Server Rack batteries have hit the market over the past year or so, and they've been priced generally between about $800 and $1,000. Each brand has had some pluses and minuses, but the big question most folks have is, are these budget batteries built well and will they last? Budget brand batteries typically are not specifically UL listed, so they don't work for everyone's solar installation. However, for off-grid installations where you're not subject to strict codes or inspections, budget batteries offer an affordable option to start building your own DIY off-grid solar system. I've been watching these budget batteries for some time now, and while each has its strong points, I recently came across this one from AOUSK, and it seemed like it checked all the boxes for the price, features, and quality. In fact, it looked so good I really didn't believe it at first, so I reached out to the company to find out more about this battery. The folks at AOUSK were very helpful, and they offered to send me this 48 volt 100 amp hour Server Rack battery in exchange for me to test it out and make a video of my evaluation process. I said yes, but only on the condition that if the battery didn't live up to the hype, it was still going to be reported in my review. So let's look at the features this battery offers and how it compares to other budget Server Rack batteries in the current market.
The features of the battery include these solid handles right here, make it easy to carry the 100-pound battery. Dexon style terminal connectors. You've got your startup indicator light here. Got your run indicator right there. Fault indicator if you have any issues. What I like is you've got 6 state of charge LED indicators, so it gives you a broader indication of what your state of charge level is. Got the reset hole right here for your BMS reset. You got your dry generator connections for your 2-wire generator start. Got your 4-pin dip switch, so you can use multiple batteries together. I like this. You have your RS-45 and your CAN inverter connections right here on the front. Then you've got an RS-232 PC connector. Now, from what I understand, this takes a separate RS-232 wire that you can request from AOUSK, or you can make your own cable to work with that. Moving on, we've got our COM connections. We've got 2 COM connections, so you've got your parallel battery connections where one battery gets into here, the other battery goes there. So you got your LED screen that gives you your battery state of charge and all your other indicators. So your remaining amp hours. Got your 125 amp DC breaker here, and then you've got your BMS power switch to turn your BMS on. And it also features an internal Bluetooth that you can monitor the system with a Bluetooth app from the BMS.
Now, when I say this battery is packed with features, take a look at this chart real quick, comparing it to some of the other budget batteries out there. This battery has got all sorts of features, and none of these other batteries include all of them.
Considering all the great features on this battery and the fact that it was for sale on Amazon at a crazy low price, just under $800, I figured I wouldn't find all the shortcuts they had taken with the battery until I opened it up and looked inside. And I fully expected to see a rat's nest of hastily assembled components when I opened up the battery. So let's see what we find inside.
So first off, we've got this protective plastic cover, which is always a nice feature. And it's held in with 4 screws. That way if the battery flips upside down or something, you don't have to worry about the cell connections touching the metal roof of the battery. I wish I saw this on more batteries. This is just a really nice safety feature, in my opinion. So we've got our batteries laid out, 16 batteries. We've got the solid metal reinforcements here holding them in. We've got the nice vent holes for the batteries. All the studs are welded to the top of the batteries. They've got The bus bars have a bend in them to account for any movement of the battery. We've got all our balance leads actually screwed in to the bus bars, which is a really nice feature. All the balance leads are really secured with cloth wrap, and they're all tied into shape, tied in with zip ties. And here, no movement at all on the balance leads. So as far as temperature sensors, we've got 1, 2, 3, and 4. And these are, I like that these are glued right on top of the batteries and in between the batteries. It's going to give you some accurate temperature readings based on what's going on with the battery at any given time. You can see that all the batteries have EV foam pads between them, insulating them. And then we've got the plastic all the way around on the outside of the battery. Just a really good build. Everything's tight. All the wiring's tight. Everything's double glued. No room for any kind of movement here. And looking over into our wiring system, we got a nice 4 AWG positive wire coming straight off the tab there. And then we've got two, looks like 6 AWG negative wires instead of the usual 8 AWG that you see. So this is actually more than you need for this 100 amp battery. And we've got our Bluetooth right here, our Bluetooth sending unit. And we have our BMS. All our balance leads are glued in. And this BMS looks to be a JBD BMS.
There you go, the UP16S015. So that's going to be, I believe that's going to be a JBD 150 amp BMS unit, version 1.3. So that's a great BMS system. That's the actual charge resistor. Here's the breaker, 125 amp breaker, and you can see how they've glued in the positive cables into the breaker, so they're not going to pop out. They look to have ferrules on them. And there's your glued positive connection to the terminal, Dixon style terminal. And this is really interesting. Under the negative tab and under the positive tab here, you see that they've put a kind of a plastic tower to just to keep that terminal from getting bent or touching onto any other metal. And that's a nice touch. This is a really well built battery. The detail is as good as you're going to find in any high dollar battery. The BMS is a well-known BMS with a good track record. The BMS has a app that goes with it so that you can monitor the system just like you would from the screen, but you can actually do some additional monitoring on your phone. So here's the app that comes with the battery and the BMS. I believe there's other apps that you can use also, but this one's the one that they have in the manual. Here's the information that you get from it. So basically it gives you your voltage, your power, state of charge, voltage differential, high-low voltage. It's kind of limited, like the control here. There's no permissions to change those controls.
Hey, a couple things to note with the monitoring app is that I didn't set up an account for it, and if you do that, there are more app options. You can also use other apps like the one for Overkill Solar, but they may not be 100% accurate in all options.
So here shows what the screen information gives you. Current, capacity, remaining state of charge, cycles, temperature, force temp sensors. So there's your over voltage protection, under voltage protection. Some of these are not settable based on the firmware in the BMS. Here's your inverter settings. Add inverters.
Cell info. You get your individual cell voltage. Everything's just secured really well. Lots of steel, lots of support. Just a really solid battery. Case is really solid. No flimsy metal here. That's really firm. So just a really good build quality on this battery. And at the price, it's absolutely just amazing.
The LiFePO4 cells are apparently manufactured by Cornex. So these cells are slightly lower in price than the commensurate Eve or Cattle cells, and that probably helps to keep the battery price down. The cells appear new, so it's unlikely to be a big factor in long-term performance, since it's common knowledge that the degradation of LiPo cells is much less evident in cells used for solar compared to other uses like electric vehicle use.
Now, one thing that's really cool about this battery, it'd be a great battery if it didn't come with any extras, but it comes with so many extras, it's just unbelievable. Look at this. It comes with its own little mini rack system, so you can mount multiple batteries on top of each other using these, and these will screw into the side of the battery. And this pin here just keeps the battery from moving. So you put one battery here, one battery here. These are genuine 3U size batteries, so they'll fit in a regular 3U rack. And these are great. So you can put these together and stack your batteries, have a little gap between them for airflow, and you save the money of having to invest in a full rack. Comes with your typical rack ears and the screws to mount these right there on either side. And now you have, your typical rack battery. So lots of options with this battery, which you don't normally see in budget batteries. Pretty cool. All right, inside the battery box, when you order it, you'll get these wonderful 4 AWG Dexon style connector battery cables that are 60 inches long, and they come with a 5/16 terminal in already in place right there. So you can hook that directly up to your batteries or your bus bars. It also comes with 2 of these paralleling battery cables, so you can connect as many batteries as you want into parallel, because each battery comes with a set of those. You've got your parallel comm wiring for your batteries to connect in parallel. You've got ground wire. This is a splice connector for any Victron style communication inverters. You've got your battery to inverter connection here if you want to run closed loop communications. Comes with user manual, quick install. And one thing about the user manual, this is a really good manual. Usually I'm used to seeing really bad, hard to understand manuals, but this one's really easy to understand. It's very clear. It includes all the information. It's really more detailed than you're used to seeing from a budget battery, I'm sure. Nice manual. Quick install guide. Comes with tips on how to adapt your communication line to your inverter if you need to. Warranty card, parts list. So really a pretty comprehensive package, including the battery. Quite unheard of, really, in this price point. One other thing I point out is the box that the battery is shipped in is just incredible. It's got a dual cell cardboard box, all foam lined, all sides. Got corner spacers. I mean, it's a 100-pound battery, so it needs to be really well taken care of. But then all this came on top, so the battery is completely surrounded in foam. All the accessories go on top. Just a really, really nice packing job on this battery. So you're very unlikely to get damage in shipping like you would with some other batteries that have less stout packing.
All right, let's test the battery. See what kind of discharge we can get. Should be fully charged. It says it's got 103.5 amp hours in there. Let's take a look, see what happens. We're in a air conditioner. Let's go ahead and check our settings. Amp hours, 100%. Set, then we'll go to set the timer. All right. Let's run it, see what happens. Okay. Looks like now we're pulling our proper amps. I can feel some cold air. That should be accurate. All right, let's see what happens. 23%. So let's see what. Saying 20%. 1,000 watts. Everything's looking good. Okay. Let's see. All right, 5%, good enough for me. It says we got 6 amp hours left. According to my meter, we've done almost 104.5 already. Good, I'm good. That's all I would expect. Okay. We're 4.5 amp hours. Crazy. Unbelievable. Okay. I'll take it.
So based on my inspection inside the battery case and the results from the discharge testing, the battery delivers well over the 100 amp hour rated capacity, and the internal build quality is obviously high. I've only had the battery for a few weeks, so I'll continue testing it and report back if any issues are discovered later. Okay, so we got the battery hooked up to the inverter. Got the inverter outputting through a TT30 120 volt travel trailer outlet. We're going to take this adapter here to the TT30, and it comes out to your typical 30 amp generator 4-pin plug that'll go into any generator transfer switch. We'll run this thing right into the house power through our manual generator transfer switch and power the house with it. All right, let's see if we can use this budget battery and a 3,000 watt inverter to power our house through our generator transfer switch. Now this is where you normally hook up your generator when your power goes out, and it's basically got 10 circuits in the house, which are primary circuits like lights and plugs and refrigerators, to keep everything running in a grid down situation or the power goes out. So let's give it a shot. We're going to plug our generator cable in right here, and then we're going to come over here to the transfer switch right here, and we're just going to plug in. Got that plugged in. Okay, let's turn the battery on, and we'll turn the BMS on. And then we'll reach in here and we'll turn the inverter on. And let's see what we get. We're just going to turn now. You can hear the inverter kicking in. Okay. Shows we're pulling between 500 and 1,000 watts on this leg, about 750 on this leg. So about half the power of the inverter. So now the battery and the inverter are powering where a generator would normally power. Now let's go in the house and see what's running. There's on. Lights are on. Ceiling fan's on. So all the lights in the house work.
Now, you'll see here that the microwave is not working because we don't have that microwave circuit power because it uses like 2,000 watts or more every time you run it. So we don't want to put that on there in an emergency. We can go without the microwave. But we want to keep our freezers and refrigerators running. We want to keep our lights running. We want to keep our plugs running so we can plug appliances in. But that's one battery and one 3,000 watt inverter are powering this house right now. If the power went out in a grid down situation, that'd be a great way to power your house. If you have a generator, you can charge the battery up later through the inverter. So based on how much power we're using, we can kind of calculate how long that one battery would keep the house running. So let's go take a look and see how many watts we're actually using right now. It's showing we're using 1.12 kilowatts. So that's 1,120 watts. All right. So if we're using 1,120 watts, let's just say right now continuously, that's going to give us about 4.5 hours of power running off this battery. Now we can turn some of the lights off and bring that down and extend that out more. But so if you had two batteries, you're going to get 9 hours of power. And just continuing on, I mean, you can calculate how many hours of power you can get based on how many batteries you got. Each battery is about 5 kilowatts, and we're using roughly a little over 1 an hour right now. So we're running 10 circuits, and each meter is showing just a little over 500 watts on each side. So you got left side of the breaker box, right side of the breaker box, and we're running about 500 watts on each side. So a little over 1,000 watts or 1 kilowatt per hour. Now if we hook solar panels up to this, we might be able to run this for 7 hours or 8 hours, just depends. And that's the goal. You want to be bringing in power during the daytime, charging your batteries up, and to get you through the nighttime where you don't have the solar power. I have a video that tells you all about manual generator transfer switches and how they work and how to set them up. They're very affordable, anywhere from $250 to $450, and you can install them yourself. They come with good instructions. It's very simple.
From my initial testing and inspection of the battery, I think it's clearly the most feature-rich budget battery I've seen for under $1,000. The build quality is superb, and the pricing is typically better than the closest budget brand competitors. Now, at the time of this video, it's priced at $769 on Amazon. And I've also got some discount links posted in the video description that might save you even more money, depending upon when you watch the video. If you're building an off-grid solar system and can get by without UL-listed equipment requirements, I'm not sure where else you can get 4 100 amp hour server rack batteries this nice for just over $3,000. That's over 20 kilowatt hours of battery, and it's under $150 per kilowatt, and that's enough to provide battery power for a small cabin or even a home. I like that the battery comes with so many accessories, battery connection cables, Bluetooth access, and a display screen. The JVD BMS is also preferred to the proprietary BMS used by some other brands. These are just features you don't see in most budget batteries. Now that said, there are just a few negatives I can point out that might improve the battery if eventually corrected. First, the Dexon-style terminal connectors are reversed from the more typical layout with the positive on the left. This could be inconvenient if installing the battery with different brands of batteries. Swapping these around looks to be kind of a difficult chore based on the placement of the breaker and the wiring inside the case. Now second, these Dexon-style connectors also appear to be an uncommon or proprietary design plug. It's got serrations right here, and it's kind of uncommon. I can't seem to find any comparable model to this online in case I need to build a different battery cable for these batteries. Now these parallel battery connectors are only rated at 120 amps. That means if you connect several batteries together, you'll likely exceed the amps for the wiring capacity of these connectors. Any multiple battery configuration with these batteries should probably utilize the longer battery cables that come with it, and each battery should be connected to a common bus bar with a T-class fuse. It'd be a lot safer. Paralleling multiple batteries with these short 120 amp cables could be dangerous if the total power draw through the batteries exceeds 100 amps. Additionally, the battery uses passive balancing, which is fine. However, the balancing apparently only works while being charged. The settings apparently cut off at about 3.4 volts per cell, and that's a safety feature. So that can't be changed in the BMS with the screen or the app. Some folks may want more control over BMS function, and they may find this limiting. Frequently charging the battery up to 100% capacity may be required to keep the battery well balanced and performing optimally. And last, this is a budget battery. That means it's not going to have the applicable UL listing, internal fire arresters, and depending upon where you live, it may not be acceptable to your AHJ or power company if you want to build a grid-tie solar system. Of course, those high-end batteries are available, but just at a much higher price point. It's readily apparent that the AOUSK Server Rack battery has a longer list of features than most budget batteries today. It's also evident by my inspection that the build quality appears to be just as good as the higher-end batteries I've inspected in the past. As far as the price goes, at $769 on Amazon with free delivery, I can't find a better budget battery buy for the money at this time. So whether you want to build an emergency backup solar generator hand truck system to use in a blackout, or you want to build an off-grid system for your home or weekend cabin, this battery will do it well for the least amount of money. I'm going to continue using the battery in solar projects here on the farm, and I'll report back my experiences with it. Hey, please check the video description for links to order this battery while it's still priced this low. I think you'll enjoy it, and it could be the foundation for a great DIY solar system in the future. If you have any questions or experience with the AOUSK battery, please leave us a comment, as everyone would like to know and learn more about this product. Hey, I'm Michael here at 2 Steps from Off Grid, where we're always looking for ways to remove our dependency on outside resources and save money while not sacrificing our comfort or lifestyle. DIY solar has been a great success for us here, and if you're interested in that kind of stuff, please subscribe and join us as we continue to discover the best technology and deals on items that help us go from 2 steps to no steps off. Hey, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.